We are live now on the Datanomix booth. You might recognize this guy. He's got to be famous right now. From Shots on the Gun Show podcast 3 or 4 times to the partnerships with Flexbotics, Karen Engineering, ProShop ERP. I mean, Datanomix is blowing up. Are you kidding me right now? Greg, how are we doing, brother?
We're doing wonderful. We need a bigger booth for next year. We've been overrun at this show.
You most definitely do. So I'm going to pretend for a second that someone out there hasn't heard of Datanomix. So I want you to start from scratch as the introduction. Before we bring in the proof of the customers you brought here today, let's talk about, to the audience, what is Datanomix, what makes you different, and how are you going to help them out there?
Absolutely. So we're production monitoring for CNC machines. And most of the industry has defined monitoring as collecting utilization data and making operators enter downtime reason codes. We're the ones who declared that the complete wrong approach and flipped monitoring on its head by saying there should be no operator input required. Your monitoring software should automatically figure out how your jobs are supposed to run, cycle time, touch time, expected level of production. Your monitoring system should automatically have workflows that help you run production meetings, quote and cost your parts, and figure out where your supervisors need to be floating to the most critical jobs on the floor. We've flipped it upside down and the response has been incredible. People love it, and we'll hear from a few of them soon.
Yeah, we will. So one of my favorite things about your software is because you know every morning people got to get that coffee, right?
Hey.
So now when they have that coffee break, what information are they receiving?
Absolutely. So the coffee cup report comes out at 6 o'clock every morning. Jack, I think, who you're going to hear from in a few minutes, is a massive fan of the coffee cup report. It shows you a full scorecard of everything that happened yesterday on the production floor, how every job ran, how it scored, how it should have run, and rather than running around collecting information for an hour and a half or 2 hours every morning, you start that morning armed with answers as to where you are and information that can be the backdrop of your production meeting to show you what you need to change to have a better day today.
So I'm going to take an approach real quick and go against you just for a second. I'm going to be that stubborn customer and go, I don't need that. I don't need that. What if I'm that stubborn customer, what's the first thing you tell them? Because I've been to customers with you. We've been to Arch. We've been to DFF. These successful customers are hiring and hiring and hiring and growing and growing. And they actually truly know what's going on in their shop instead of either tribal knowledge or theory. This is something that comes to them every day. What's the first thing you tell someone when they go, look, I got automation, I got the best machines on the planet, but I kind of already know what's going on. I don't need any machine monitoring.
Yeah, so the first thing I would say, and you hit on one of the words, if you're not trying to grow right now in this industry, you are doing it wrong. You should be trying to win. There are so many parts that need to be made. There's so much business and opportunity out there, and you don't have a chance of figuring out how to harvest all of the available opportunity if you don't have the data that tells you how to be running the business better, which jobs are your winners and losers. Something we did with our ProShop integration recently is pull target cycle times out of ProShop and put them right into our quote calibration report. We have a report, literally, look at this, Tony, losers that could be winners. What shop owner does not want to know which jobs are losers that could be winners? And it's a fully automated report. Takes the ProShop data, takes the real monitoring data, shows you how much money you're losing compared to standard and how much money you could be making compared to standard if you ran the job better based on what the data says. If you refuse our software after that conversation, I cannot help you. You have bigger problems than I'm able to assist you with.
And just for fun, that was awesome, by the way, and shout out to Paul also. Just for fun, what background do you come from, and what background does your co-founder, John, come from? Because I personally think that's significant to the unique design of how you guys have created this platform.
Absolutely. So John and I are both enterprise IT data infrastructure folks, data storage appliances, data analytics engines, things of that nature. John's a mechanical engineer by degree, worked in a machine shop early on in his life, fully understands part tolerances, surface finishes, all those complexities. I'm a computer science major, I'm a software and data guy. We took a look at manufacturing environments, walked around on shop floors with owners and supervisors that were using other monitoring systems when we started this company and tried to figure out why wasn't that monitoring system getting them the information they wanted. Basically they said, hey, we know our utilization, but it doesn't get me out of my seat. John coined the phrase, they were watching their business, they weren't running their business. And in order to break the problem of why they were only watching in a passive fashion, we had to turn the whole monitoring definition on its head and come up with the various workflows and concepts that we did.
And with that being said, let's send it over to Rowan and one of the winners that are over there talking with him right now, our buddy Mike.
And absolutely a winner here with Mike. Now, you've been in the industry a while, but you've not run machine shops for a long time. You've bought 5 machine shops and had massive growth. Can you just give a little bit of background on that, please?
Yeah, so I started out in computer engineering or computer science and was doing shop floor data collection systems 25 years ago. About 5 years ago, bought our first shop, about 25 machines. Have bought 4 more since. We run about 40 machines now. And I knew this data is like locked up in the machine, right? Knew the value of the data. How do we get it out? We have a great ERP system with ProShop, and we're looking for integrations for single user interface, so forth. Datanomix came along and gave us everything we needed on that.
And as soon as you heard that ProShop and Datanomix were doing an integration and calibration, you jumped on that straight away.
Absolutely. I think Greg just told us 47 minutes was my sales cycle.
47 minutes. So this guy's running 5 machine shops. You've had some great growth, but tell me, what problems were you struggling with? What were operators calling you down to the shop floor with? What was happening on the shop floor before you had a machine monitoring solution?
Right. So Hill, when we bought Hill, we started we changed our mission, which was real simple, and to me, it's the lowest hurdle a machine shop can have: deliver quality parts on time every time. Problem was, I didn't know if I could do that, right? So I needed data to tell me, are we delivering on that promise, right? The machine monitoring, our ERP systems, all ProShop, any of them out there, they can tell you if you did it yesterday, but am I doing it today, right? So I needed something that would allow me to get proactive with how we're doing today, so I can change the outcome of a job, not look at how the job went and try to change it next time.
So how does that work? Because surely you can see what you did over the day, at the end of the day, and you say, okay, well, tomorrow we're going to do better. Why can't you fix things at the end of the day? Why can't you fix them with a little bit of a lag?
Yeah, so I mean, if I had 5 machines and 3 machinists, 10 machines and 6, whatever, I probably could, right? But running 40 across multiple locations, you cannot keep track of every job, every operator, so forth, right? One of our biggest fears of Datanomix was like the big brother, like, oh, they're tracking me, what am I doing? It's not about watching the operator, right? It's like allowing me to make better business decisions on a day-to-day basis, being able to communicate with my customer, be transparent about the status of a job, be transparent about the cost of a job, right?
So the proactivity is really important, rather than being a reactive and reacting to things after the day is done. Let's look at the interface now, because you explained something really interesting to me. Let's dig into the technicals of what you actually use on this interface and how that works.
Yeah, so one of the simplest things for me is when I look right here at like cycle time, I'm running an hour and 52 versus a 74-minute time that the algorithms in here tell me I should be running based on the history of this job. The cutting time, look at my variance in cutting time. The machine's the machine, right? It's running 3720 versus 3731.
So by variance, you mean the machine is consistent every time you push that button, it takes the same time?
Look at my touch time though, right? 75
What's
minutes.
touch time?
Touch time's that switching out the part in the machine, right? It's changing out tools, it's all those things that happen. If I know I can do it in 36 minutes and I'm running 75, I'm losing $100 every time a part comes off, right?
Because you're losing you're losing a 40 minutes on every time it takes 75 minutes, when it could take 37.
On your shop rate, right? I mean, whether that's $50, $100, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But every time a part comes off, so on this they've made 8 parts in a day. If you're losing 45 minutes to an hour, you're losing $100.
Okay, so how hard would it be to try and get this information without an automated monitoring system working in the background? Why wouldn't you just do that?
So, I mean, old school, you do, right? Shop manager's sitting out on the floor and he's watching every single person, and it's impossible though. You can't keep up with 30 people on your floor, how they're doing on job by job by job. This gives me the chance to be proactive. I have alerts. I have shop managers now that see, oh, I've got a problem. I need to go fix it.
Brilliant. So doing the impossible, being proactive, that's Datanomix. Over to Tony. Oh, well, not quite over to Tony yet, but keep asking questions on the stream. We're live right now, so if you've got some questions for Datanomix, we've only got a little bit of time left on this stream, so master questions, make sure you get those in. Over to Tony.
Jack, I'm going to keep this quite simple to start it off. Why Datanomix for roller products?
Datanomix was just easy, number one, and it was a system that I thought of years ago when I came into work in a plant that I ran I wanted to know where to go spend my time. What happened overnight, what happened over the last 3 shifts, and I needed something very quick like the coffee cup report to be able to go look and go, okay, these are all running well. I need to go to the hot spots, not to all the stuff that's working.
Well, we started this whole thing with Greg, and he mentioned how much you love that coffee report. Would you mind describing to the audience why that is and all the time you're saving or the reasons behind how you're able to communicate with your entire factory in such a short amount of time?
Well, it summarizes all the key data for the last 24 hours. And you can see trends over the last week, and if you want to dive deeper, you can go right into it. So we review that every morning to make sure that we don't have a hole somewhere or some production off. We've promised parts, we can't do it. We don't have to wait until partway through the day. We can find out what happened overnight and know what action to take right away.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And for the audience that doesn't know Jack, we've done a podcast together. I've been into his facility, so I know what Jack's about to tell you guys, which I think is fascinating. Jack, when you got into roller products, let's talk about the size of it and how many machines, and then today, the size of it and how many machines. And along that way, you've utilized Datanomix the entire time, so the growth was not something that was even a struggle at all for their machine monitoring.
Right. When I bought Roller 7 years ago, there were 3 employees and 4 CNCs. So we've purchased a couple of companies along the way, and today we have, I don't know how many CNCs, probably 15 or 20, and 35 employees.
Yeah, and when we talk about that, there's this really cool Swiss line of machines. I know you have even more coming, I believe, that are on order. What are some of the cool components you're making on there? I don't want to give it away, but I hope you say what I think you're going to say.
So of all things that I never thought we'd make in a CNC shop is paintball gun parts. We ran into a paintball gun company that wanted parts made, and they're very intricate parts, and who knew? You know, we went from making nothing for the paintball industry to $1 million a year for the paintball industry.
And needing to buy machine after machine after machine, bringing someone in specifically to understand Swiss machining. Now, I know something else that's really great about you, Jack. As a friend of yours, I understand this, and you have Dylan out here with us as well. You brought some of your colleagues with you. How important are your colleagues and coworkers and some of the people that you've hired to help with this growth? Because I won't give this away again. Gosh, I don't want to give away the stories, but I know them so well and I like them so much. How much does they mean to you when you're talking about your growth and your success? Because it matters to your employees as well, based on how you've built this company from the bottom up.
Yes, the employees, I always looked at this, the employees are the most important thing. So when I bought Roller 7 years ago, I sat all the employees down and said the most important thing to me about buying this company is that you stay. Because without employees who are dedicated to what they do, care about what they do, company's not going to make any money. I could go buy that equipment at an auction. With nobody to run it that cared, you're not going to go anywhere.
You're right. And what else I love about some of your employees that you have is they've come from completely different industries. You have someone who's in nursing, I believe, or at least medical at one point. That's now your shop manager, and she is amazing. So how cool is that, right? Like, you really inspire people to do well.
Yes. And to be able to learn on the job. You know, Dylan's our plant manager. If anybody's watched that From Cable Guy to Plant Manager, it's an interesting conversation to watch with Dylan, but you know, his journey through life and how he landed, you know, with us and applied himself, and he's got a great career.
I want to reiterate, I'm getting my words stumbled as we're on stream number, whatever it might be, who cares, but we're going to reiterate the fact of that growth. How many years was that, Jack? Because to my memory, it was a really short span of time where you went from 3 to the number that you have now when it comes to employees. How quickly did you move? And with that quickness, you had to have Datanomix to support all that information that just came in so quickly with that growth.
Yes, you have to have. So that time period was about 7 years, 6.5, 7 years, from kind of 0 to 60 the way we're going now. And without that kind of data that you really know what's going on, you can't keep track of it all. With that kind of growth, you need a system you can rely on to give you the right data so you can make the right decisions.
Very well said. We're going to throw this over to Rowan in just a second, but one last thing. Now that the world is fascinated by what you've done and what you've been able to create, how can they find you to send you work that they know is going to be done properly with precision and great lead times to get it to them as well? How can they find you?
Our website is www.rollerproducts.com. You can just send checks and POs in the mail, You know, you can find us online. We're willing to look at anything and everything from, you know, lower volume to very high precision, all the way through ground gears.
And I'll take some checks in the mail as well for those out there watching right now. Go on over to Rowan.
And I'm here with the CEO, John Joseph. And since you're the CEO, you are definitely the best guy to be asking, where do you see Datanomix going to the future?
We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to make customers successful. Our mission is to improve performance in manufacturing all across America and in the other continents that we sell into. We're really proud of what we do. We're delivering a performance tool that helps people deliver results in their company, to see exactly where their company is in the moment and be able to respond to what they see in the moment on the factory floor by deploying the people with the domain expertise to deliver solutions to problems that they see on the floor on our system.
I thought that was scripted because that was a fantastic response. Thank you, John. And because we've heard from so many success stories in the past, do you feel that customers are going to be looking at these success stories and identifying with them, but they might struggle to sell to their own people in-house? What would you say to the people who are struggling to sell to their decision makers?
Yeah, I think it's a cultural shift. It's a cultural shift where you have to use data to make decisions. And if you don't have the tools inside your company to deliver the data and the insights and the context, then find the people that do. My company does data, you do precision parts. Let's focus on our core expertise and deliver results to our customer.
And if some people feel like they're in a company that is dragging their heels and wants to do things like they've always done, I mean, there's been a lot of changes in the past few years, as we all know. People have to change a lot to be competitive. How do you feel like maybe the shop floor operator, a setter, someone in the office, and they feel like we need to start moving in this new direction? What advice would you give them to try and build and change that culture internally?
Yeah, I think it starts by identifying role models and champions in the company, people who are willing to try technology and use it, and then stand in front of it. I think the next piece is to evangelize that technology so that other people see the value that it's bringing to the organization, and then finally being able to show over time what the results are, where we were at time equals 0 and where we are at time equals now.
Absolutely, and maybe show them this video. We have 2 fantastic stories of value added to customers. Let's move on about your partnerships with other companies. Where do you see yourselves expanding? I mean, ERP and machine monitoring seem to go so well hand in hand. How are you going to improve that?
So we're going to increase the number of partnerships that the company has. We're going to be predictive. We're going to continue to focus on performance. We're going to focus on quality. All of those dimensions are important to our customers and they're important to us. So we're going to find the best of breed partners to bring to the table. Karen Engineering, best of breed. ProShop, best of breed. Flexbotics, best of breed. We're going to talk about a whole bunch more that bring predictive performance, quality, and positioning onto the table for our company and for our customers. The point is that we're going to deliver a single seamless visual view of the factory in real time so that you're not solving yesterday's problems tomorrow. That's key for us.
Okay, so if people are watching this and you think you're the best of breed, get in your respective sector, get in touch with Datanomix. Maybe they're interested in partnerships. They're going to be growing. You should be checking them out. They have loads of fantastic customer stories. Have you got any final comments, any final words you want to tell your employees, maybe your customers, maybe a little bit of both?
Oh gosh, we have great customers. We're proud of the customers that we have. They have sought us out here at the show. Our booth has been mobbed for the last 3 days. We're literally exhausted at the end of the day, but honored to be here to help manufacturing up-level its game, focused on performance. You don't get to do that without a great set of employees that come to work every day to deliver excellence. Excellence in the product experience, excellence in customer success and support, excellence in engineering, and all of those people work together to bring that excellent capability to our customers. A shout out and a thank you to every one of our employees at the company. Love them.